part that was so comical it looked like it was staged. Was that real?
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, and while the Leafs don't play tonight, in case you missed it, late last night they beat the Golden Knights 7-3 for their 6th win in a row to move them within striking distance of the Panthers and Bruins in the Atlantic race. The Buds are 8-2 in their last 10 games overall and have the league's second longest active winning streak. Austin Matthews has earned a ton of attention and praise during the streak, and he scored again last night, bringing his total to a ridiculous 52 goals in 55 games. But it has been more than Matthews that's been fueling Toronto's heater. His line mate Mitch Marner is riding a 9-game point streak, and he's got 6 straight multi-assist games to bring his point total to 70. Another bright spot comes from an unexpected source in Marlies call-up Bobby McMann. During his 6-game win streak, McMann has scored 7 goals and totals 10 points. He's also seen his ice time increase from 6 to 8 minutes per game to 11 to 13, and he's playing up in the lineup with JT. With Morgan Riley back and Joseph Wall waiting in the wings, things could not be better in Leafland right now. Meanwhile, there are 2 Canadian teams in action tonight, but they're not facing each other. The Jets take on Chicago and the Oilers face the Wild. These are 2 of the best teams in the West, so let's look ahead to playoffs for both of them. Edmonton seems destined for another series with the Golden Knights or Kings, as just 4 points separate LA and Vegas from 2nd and 4th in the division, with Edmonton sandwiched between them. For the Jets, the top spot in the Central is absolutely still in play. Winnipeg has 4 games in hand on both Colorado and Dallas, and they're just 2 and 3 points back of them respectively. However, Winnipeg has been struggling a bit as of late, with a 4-5-1 record in their last 10. But they seem to right the ship with those 4 wins coming in their last 5 games. Plus, they've got a nice schedule coming up to get them back on track, with 5 of their next 8 opponents being non-playoff teams. The Raptors kicked off their unofficial start to the second half with an impressive victory last night over the Nets. Toronto dominated from the jump, scoring a season-best 46 fast break points, capitalizing on a Brooklyn season-worst 20 turnovers, and had 12 of 13 players who saw any floor time score at least 2 points. The win was Toronto's 20th of the season and pulls them just a game and a half back of Brooklyn in the standings. And they're also now within striking distance of the final play-in spot in the East. And their opponent tonight just happens to be the team in that final play-in spot, the Atlanta Hawks. After splitting their first 2 games this season, the Raps lost their last meeting by just 1 point. So they'll be looking to split the season series tonight. For more, we are now joined for the 2nd time this week. We are truly blessed with Wesley Chang, our gambling guru. Long time no see, Wes.
Long time, Marissa.
Now, Wes, we hate to do this to you, especially after I just said you were a gambling guru, because you suffered a bad beat, with Mikal Bridges just coming up 2 points shy of going over his points total. And the Raps are now just 10 wins away from passing FanDuel's projected wins total. The odds have now shifted to Toronto playing plus money for under 29.5 wins. I gotta ask, are you sticking with your initial prediction, or are you having second thoughts?
Look, that's betting. When you cover a prop by 1 point, you don't go around bragging about that. It goes the same the other way. You can't cry if you miss by 1 or 2. On the Raptors win total, my opinion about them still stands pat. Excellent performance from them. Very good 2-way effort last night. But the reality is they were favorites for that game. So that's a win they were supposed to get. If you look at this schedule, the rest of the way, they continue to have teams that are going to be fighting for playoff positioning. Those are going to be some really tough games heading into April. 1 good performance from them. Shout out to them. But I'd rather see 2 or 3 more consistent performances before I change my entire outlook.
Thanks for being a good sport, Wes. Now, the Raps are underdogs tonight in the second end of a tough home and away back-to-back. What's your best bet for tonight's game in Atlanta?
I like Trae Young to get 25 or more points tonight. Look at his track record against the Raps this year. 3 played games, 30-plus points in all of them. Add in the fact that the Raptors are historically a really bad defense against point-of-attack dynamic players like Trae Young. It's just not a good matchup. The Raptors have allowed the most above-the-break 3-pointers in the month of February. Trae Young gets a lot of his shots right from that zone. Credit to the Raptors. Good defensive performance versus Brooklyn, but even still, 37 out of their 80 field goal attempts came from deep. Fits right into Trae's wheelhouse. If his shot is on, it's going to be another tough night for the Raps.
All right, great to see you again, Wes. Enjoy your weekend.
You too, Marissa.
Time now, my favorite segment, and yours at We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
The Thunder continue to be one of the best stories in the association this season, led by Canadian superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Late last night, they dominated the second half against the Clippers team that has been the best in the NBA over the last 3 months. And OKC is now just a game back of Mini for top spot in the West. SGA poured in a game-high 31 and is second only to Nikola Jokic in the MVP odds according to FanDuel. The matchup also holds a little extra motivation for SGA, who was famously traded from LA with a boatload of picks for Paul George back in the summer of 2019. And while he was a promising young player in LA, I don't think anyone could have imagined he would already outperform an established star like PG since the deal. And you can see just how much the win meant to the upstart Thunder, especially Jalen Williams, who's firing up the crowd late in the fourth. But he might have been a bit too fired up for his mama's liking, which he tried to explain post-game. Just having fun, I think a lot of it is just feel. I don't know, I'd just be yelling. My mom told me to stop cursing in text message. That text is so mom-coded for a son or a daughter that is thriving on camera, let's say. Perhaps I've gotten notes from my own mother about what I'm wearing. They do it because they care, you know? And we've got a great double dip for you in the association tonight. Starting with the surging Cavs visiting the slumping Sixers. That's followed by the team OKC is chasing in the West, Minnesota, taking on the Bucks, who have lost 7 of 10 under Doc Rivers. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN2. We're just 9 days away from the opening race of the F1 season, and I cannot wait to see how the drama that's about to unfold. We will have the Bahrain Grand Prix for you on March 2nd, but note that it is a Saturday race and not the usual Sunday morning, with our coverage beginning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 5:30 a.m. Pacific. However, right now we have a special treat for you because friend of the show, Tim Hauraney, also huge F1 guy, I don't know if you know this, he's already in Bahrain, and he got some behind the scenes with testing. I don't know, what are we doing here, Tim? Or I guess the better question is, how is Hauraney doing in Bahrain?
Marissa, hello. I see your pun, and I accept it. Look, I'm trackside here in Bahrain for F1 testing, like you had said. Also here for the first race of the season. To stay trackside, I have to wear one of these bibs, so I can be surrounded by some of these amazing race cars that are zooming around. Why am I talking about this? Why don't I just show you? Come here. I think I know how this thing works. Marissa, I'm hijacking Roberto on the go. Be prepared for Hauraney on the go. Testing takes place over 3 days where teams show up to the track with their newly redesigned race cars that they will run and evolve from the first race of the season onwards. Teams test many different things. For instance, this morning, Canadian Lance Stroll, Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton, and the Alpine of Esteban Ocon all ran aero rakes. So aero rakes are these metal grills you see here that attach to the race car. The grills are covered with hundreds of little tiny sensors, and they're used to measure the airflow across the bodywork. Engineers then use the data that is gathered from the aero rakes to compare with simulations the teams have designed back at their home headquarters to make sure that what they're seeing in their simulations at home correlates with what is happening out on the racetrack. And once night falls, we really get to see these cars come to life, sparking down the front straight as cars reach speeds well over 300 kilometers an hour, the downforce pushing the car and driver into the pavement. Also watching subtle differences between driving styles and car concepts. It really helps you paint a picture as to who has what, who has taken a step forward, and who's gone backwards. All right, that's all from me, Marissa. Have a great weekend.
All right, thanks, Tim. I loved it, but I'm not sure when we gave you clearance to steal my segment in such a way. Don't do it again, or else.
Or else what?
Timothy, you know I'm Italian, right? Or else you're not getting any of Nana sauce. That's all for today. We'll see you right back here Monday. Have a great weekend.